So my wife actually used to struggle to lose weight, but now, even though she's well over 30 years old, she actually is shocked when she struggles to eat enough to maintain her weight. A problem that she never thought that she would have had until she actually did this. So step number one is to just set a goal to build muscle. My wife, Krista, after she gave birth to our third baby, just really struggled to lose weight. Her cardio and lightweight circuit workouts just weren't getting her where she wanted to be. And so she finally came and asked me for help. The one thing that she had not done consistently was to lift heavy weights with the sole purpose of actually getting stronger. Now this is just completely undisputed. I mean, even experts like Jeff Nippard will recommend building muscle in order to increase your metabolism. But let's not just look at the studies and the data. Let's look at like the guys over at Mind Pump who've been training people for decades, helping people to do the same thing with this process. But then I actually had to help my wife to do step number two, which most women in particular really struggle with. So step number two is that I actually had her not eat less, but actually eat more, which I know it's really counterintuitive. And my wife really struggled with this because she felt like if she's eating more, the scale's just gonna be going up. And that to her meant automatically fat gain. But let me tell you that if you're doing step number one and doing it properly using progressive overload, you're not gonna be gaining fat, you're going to be gaining muscle. And for those that don't know, progressive overload is essentially if this week I lift 40-pound dumbbells and do 10 reps of a chest press, next week I should aim to do 11 reps, maybe 12 reps, or maybe it's just my form is improving. That is what actually sends to the body that muscle building stimulus, which creates the muscle growth. But back to eating more, like what should you actually eat? So the best way to actually do this is to focus on whole nutrient-dense foods, which is exactly what my wife did. And I also had her eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, my wife always felt like she ate a lot of protein, but once she realized how much she should be eating, she honestly was shocked. So what we did then was just found out what her maintenance calories were to be able to maintain her weight. And then I actually added 200 to 300 calories over that because that's actually what's gonna fuel the muscle growth. Now this was an amazing start, but if she had just stopped there, she eventually would just stop seeing progress. So that's actually why I had her do step number 3. I think I spend more time in my kids' treehouse than they do. So I just had her stay consistent with the process. Pardon me, I need a little fresh air. Oh yeah. So that meant that if the scale went up a pound or 2, I'm not worried about that because most of the time people will see that, they panic, and they all of a sudden drop their calories. But if you do that, you're gonna kill the entire process. Don't be afraid of the scale actually increasing because here's what's gonna happen. Krista was specifically looking for her weight on the scale to increase, but in a controlled manner for a specific amount of time. So for example, my wife gained about 8 to 10 pounds over the course of almost a year, but it's not fat because when you build muscle, by definition, your body weight has to increase because you're adding lean tissue to your body. So what she was following was actually a process? So what she was actually following was a process studied in physiology called metabolic adaptation. Now, typically this is gonna happen when you're dieting. So as you're dieting, you're slowly dropping your calories, you're eating less, your body then tries to slow down your activity in order to conserve energy. So your metabolic burn will actually decrease as you're dieting. Now it's slow, but the cool thing is that this also happens in the opposite direction. When you're increasing calories, in particular though, when you're pairing that with building muscle. I think this settles it. I'm enjoying my kids' swing set and treehouse more than they are. Whoa! Oh gosh, that was so wet. That was a bad idea. All right, tell me, what's the damage? How wet am I? So your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, actually increases. So this is basically any movement that's not exercise. So it's things like moving your body around, moving extra during the day, tapping your fingers, tapping your feet, blinking your eyes. All of this stuff just increases as your calories are increasing. You're also then building muscle. Muscle increases your metabolic burn. And then on top of that, your body just seems to become less efficient with how it's using calories. But most people actually give up on this whole process before reaching step number 4, which is critical to actually making all of this work. So what I would have Krista aim to do is to see her weight increasing each month consistently, or If she's getting stronger with her lifts, she's lifting more, and her weight is staying the same, that's great too, because it means we're still building muscle, making that progress. But what I would look for is that if her weight stalled out for about 2 to 3 weeks, and on top of that, in her workouts, she's not getting stronger, she's not adding weights. Okay, now I've got to add 100 to 200 more calories to what she's eating, because it means she's reached a new maintenance point. So by new maintenance calories, it just means now her body actually maintains its weight on a higher number of calories than it did before. But that's where the real power of this lies, because as your calories are increasing, your maintenance increases, therefore you can diet on way more calories than you were before, which makes that whole process way simpler. But what happens next then? How do you actually diet down, lose the body fat without losing muscle so that you can get that toned look? Well, that's actually what I helped Krista do in this video right up over here. And as always, go get strong, but first go give your family a hug like I'm about to go do, because I think they matter more. And I'll see you over there on the next video.